Hello, my name is Arias, and today I'm going to be talking about the oral cavity's microbiome and the effects alcohol has in it. The main functions of the oral cavity is digestion, speech, and respiration. The oral cavity consists of the lips, teeth, uvula, tonsils, tongue, cheeks, the salivary glands, the oropharynx, hard palate, and soft palate. First, what is even in the oral microbiome, other than the obvious, which is saliva? Well, there's about 770 something oral bacterial species that have been counted. These species are all cataloged on the expanded human oral microbiome database. An example of this would be plaque, which is soft, non-calcified film that collects on the surface of our teeth. 70% of it is microorganisms. The majority of bacteria in our mouth comes from aerobic bacteria known as Streptococcus genus. Some common havoc that can be caused by these microorganisms is things like dental caries. The cause of this is the bacteria known as Streptococcus mutans, which ferments sugars, produces acids, and then demineralizes the tooth enamel. This is actually better known as cavities, which can be rather painful in instances. Some anaerobic bacteria can be found in the deeper layers of our mouth, such as the periodontal pockets. Examples of those are Vibrios. A common fungi found in our mouths is Candida albicans, which is harmless unless immunity is lowered. And a common virus in the oral cavity is the herpes simplex, which gives rise to cold sores. Through research, I actually found that 80% of cancers of the oral cavity and pharynx are due to tobacco smoking and heavy alcohol consumption. Now, through a review, I found multiple sources that led me to the idea of high acetaldehyde possibly being a factor in oral cancer. Acetaldehyde is a colorless, flammable organic compound with a strong pungent odor. It is an intermediate in various biological and industrial processes. It plays a significant role in metabolism and fermentation. It is a toxic byproduct of ethanol metabolism in the liver. This chemical is known as a carcinogen because of its probability to cause cancer. A study done in 2011 focused solely on the acetaldehyde aspect of alcohol consumption. This experiment took ethanol metabolism out of the equation, but just having the participants rinse their mouths with the alcohol for 30 seconds and then spit it out like a wine tasting. The participants' ages ranged from 20 to 60 years of age. Participants had no health issues, did not take drugs, had no dental issues. They also were non-tobacco users. Participants were asked to abstain from alcohol 1 day prior to the experiment. It also took place more than 1 hour from the last meal. Participants also kept their usual dental hygiene routine and were asked to exclude alcohol-based mouth rinses. Samples of the saliva were taken from participants at 30 seconds after the initial rinse. Then samples were taken again at 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes. The enzymatic analysis was conducted immediately after sampling the saliva, as to not exclude losses of acetaldehyde due to evaporation. The results show the starting point for participants was under 20 micromoles. Now with beer, the participants went from under 20 and skyrocketed to 98 within the first 30-second sample and peaked at the 2-minute mark. A very high variation continued regardless of the participant's age or gender. It also did not matter what alcohol was being used or the alcohol's starting acetaldehyde point. Also to note, the samples went down as the 5-minute mark hit and the 10-minute mark. Some of the microorganisms that showed the most change due to the acetaldehyde was the Candida species, the Streptococcus species, as shown in the graph. These microorganisms saw an influx once the ethanol was introduced. This experiment was done with a smaller group and would benefit from a larger group. And maybe segmenting people by their regular alcohol habits would also see a change in the data. It is something we should take a look into more since the average acetaldehyde is 0.3 in saliva, which is such a small number compared to the spike that happens once alcohol is introduced. This can be something to deter people from drinking as much.